It's a privilege to welcome Roger Newton. He is the founder, president, and CEO of Esperion Therapeutics, but he's most well known as the co-discoverer of Lipitor. Roger, welcome.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here.
Before I go into all the other activities you're involved in, I want to start with your work and the discovery of Lipitor and how it captured the market.
Okay, well, it's any pharmaceutical that's on the market right now took anywhere from 12 to 15 years from inception to the time it was approved and then launched. Any small molecule pill in the bottle. And Lipitor's not any different. It took 15 years from the time I started the program and the screening process and the chemists got involved in making the compounds. It took 15 years from that time. And it was not an easy road because there were other statins already on the market, as you know. So with the commitment and help of many, many people, we were able to have Lipitor be launched in February of 1997. We also had, fortunately, a commitment by Pfizer to actually be co-marketers, co-detailing of the compound. And there's no better pharmaceutical company at marketing and sales than Pfizer. And so I don't think Lipitor would ever have accomplished what it has accomplished as far as sales of $13 billion, which is what its peak was a year ago, without having a tremendous sales force and a well-educated, scientifically driven sales force to differentiate it from the competition. A lot of forks in the road, many late nights, weekends, lots of challenges to convince management that this could be a better compound if we could get it into the clinic. And we did, and we easily saw, even in healthy volunteers, a 30 to 60% reduction in the bad cholesterol, LDL. And I think that, and showing that it was better than the competition, really made a huge difference in why it became the number one pharmaceutical.
You know, I think you have this entrepreneur bug in you, and it's very intriguing. That's why I'm asking this question. Is when you're at a position where you come out with, a 5-star drug out in the market that's just killing competition everywhere, why would you go and start Esperion?
Well, it happens, and I've actually talked to a number of people who have been successful with new drugs, and there usually happens that within 3 to 5 years they leave the company that they had that success at. And for my purpose and my situation, I was involved in a reorganization, and I couldn't do the science that I love to do. I couldn't pursue what I was really interested in after we had Lipitor to be a success, selling $1 billion in the first 11 months after launch. And I wanted to work on the good cholesterol particles, the HDL. So I basically made up my mind I was going to move on. And so I gave it a year after the restructuring, and I didn't see my way. I couldn't see my way doing it. And I was fortunately approached by an entrepreneur by the name of David Shear, and we worked a whole year getting the funding to start a company called Esperion Therapeutics. And so we started that in July of 1998. Make a long story short, we were working on synthetic HDL particles using a variant, gain of mutation variant called ApoA1 Milano. The major protein in HDL is ApoA1. And this is a single amino acid difference, but it had a huge impact on cholesterol carrying capabilities, effluxing cholesterol out of those nasty plaques that build up over time. And we actually showed in a study 5.5 years later that if you gave 5 infusions a week apart, that you could actually, in the worst segment of a coronary artery, reduce the amount of plaque by 10% in only a matter of 6 weeks. Never been shown before, unparalleled, and eventually Pfizer bought us for $1.3 billion in February of 2004.
But an interesting development happened. They bought it, and they left it in the cold, and you have to get it back from them.
Well, they bought it. I was part of Pfizer, ran the division, or the Esperion Therapeutics as a Pfizer Inc. company for 3.5 years. Difficult times for Pfizer. They had a combination of Lipitor and an HDL elevating compound called torcetrapib, which failed. and they lost $1.2 billion. And so what happened was they had to restructure, they had to close down all the R&D facilities in Michigan, so 2,400 people lost their jobs, including myself. But I look at adversity as opportunity. So I said to my boss at the time, who was president of Pfizer Global R&D, can I get the name back? Can I get some intellectual property that you're not interested back? And I will go get the venture capital to restart Asparian Therapeutics. And we successfully did that and launched the new enterprise, Asparian Therapeutics, in May of 2008.
I have to ask you this. Why are medications so expensive here when you compare it to other developing countries? I'll take an example of India. Former President Bill Clinton, gets a lot of support from Indian manufacturers for AIDS medicine, especially for Africa. And I give you the supporting statement also that you spend hundreds of millions of dollars for research.
Yes.
That's a given.
The big pharma does, biotech does.
But why do you think still? I mean, it's difficult for people to relate why is it so expensive.
Well, part of it is, I think, that it's hard to change what is. And the margins in pharmaceuticals are probably the highest margins of any industry in the United States. And I think that's why there's this constant tug of war, this yin-yang between generic companies and companies with brand name products. For example, the generics challenged the Lipitor patent estate, and I was involved in a number of different cases where I was deposed, I gave testimony, and was cross-examined as a fact witness. So I know what they're trying to do, and I also know what Big Pharma is trying to do. They're trying to protect their brand name because they have invested hundreds of millions of dollars, maybe even billions of dollars, and in some cases they're not successful. So it's an industry where it's still a successful industry, but the problem is that if you don't have something innovative, truly innovative, the industry can't be sustainable, I believe. And I think smaller companies, like biotech companies, can move much quicker, faster, and aren't building this infrastructure that costs so much money, where I think, under those circumstances, you can keep the price down.
My last question is, when I speak to most entrepreneurs, I'm talking about technology entrepreneurs, they say they always chased their dream, their passion to bring a product or service to the market. Money was never the first objective. And you are in a profession where it is noble at the same time because you're helping hundreds of thousands of lives at the same time. So for you as an entrepreneur and for entrepreneurs in general in life science and medical healthcare, do you think passion for the cause is more important or to help support your stakeholders?
I think it's a passion for the science first and foremost, a passion for the cause, and obviously not far behind is the stakeholders. I think I was very fortunate in that I knew I wanted to pursue translational medicine and take my mantra, actually, which I discovered back in my mid-20s, was understand basic science, find a therapeutic application of the basic science to prevent and treat human disease and to make a difference in people's lives. And so my mantra is when I get up in the morning, that's what stirs me to go out and to work hard. I'm very passionate about what I do. I'm very passionate about the people I work with, very caring about the people I work with. Our core values are individual dignity, vibrant teamwork, and excellence in science. Not the 10 Commandments, just 3 very simple values. And if we live those every day and you really have a clear passion for what you're going to do and you have a business approach to commercialization of the science, you can be very successful yourself, but also have a major impact on humanity. And I never even thought about the money, to be honest with you.
Wishing you the very best for the next Lipitor.
Thank you, Mateen.
Thank you, Raj. Appreciate it.
Appreciate it. Yeah.